You know how in those Fast and Furious movies, the plot is, well, it's not really the point, is it? It's all about the cars, the nitrous, the engine upgrades happening under the hood. That is a perfect metaphor for what's happening in fintech right now. The headlines you see, that's the plot. But the real story, the important stuff, is the tech getting a massive tune-up. And that's exactly our theme today. We are popping the hood to look at some really crucial engine upgrades happening at three big companies: SoFi, Affirm, and LendingTree. We're going to see how the invisible tech is actually the real force driving them forward. So here's the game plan. First, we're going to dig into SoFi's huge bet on its own stablecoin. Then we'll see how Affirm is getting ready for a world where AI does our shopping for us. And finally, we'll unpack the pretty wild story behind LendingTree's recent stock surge. Okay, first up, SoFi. Now, a lot of us know it as that really slick, all-in-one finance app on our phones. But the real story here, the one that's way more interesting, is how SoFi is quietly trying to become something much more fundamental, like a core piece of our financial infrastructure. And it kicks off with a pretty big signal of confidence. SoFi CEO Anthony Noto just dropped $1 million of his own money into the company. He bought over 56,000 shares right on the open market. I mean, that's his way of saying, hey, I don't just believe in this company, I'm literally betting my own cash on it. Now that insider buy, it makes for a great headline, for sure. But the much bigger, more structural story is SoFi's deepening partnership with Mastercard. What they're doing is working to use SoFi's own stablecoin, SoFiUSD, for payment settlement, and this is all about upgrading the very pipes of finance. So what on earth is settlement? It sounds kind of boring, right? The back office stuff. But think of it like the plumbing in the walls of our financial system. It's the process that finalizes all the transactions between banks. And if you can make that plumbing faster and cheaper, well, that gives you a massive advantage. So here's the upgrade in action. The old way is this tangled web. It's slow, it's super complex, and it can take days for money to actually clear. The new way, though, using something like SoFiUSD on a blockchain, it's like a direct pipeline. It's almost instantaneous. We're talking about a total game changer for the speed of money. So what's the big picture here? SoFi isn't just playing around with crypto. It's trying to build a new utility layer for finance. By getting its stablecoin to be a settlement currency on Mastercard's massive network, it can start powering faster cross-border payments, B2B transactions, basically becoming a key piece of regulated on-chain financial plumbing. Okay, next up, Affirm. Their latest move sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but it's actually an incredibly clever play. They're getting ready for a future where our AI assistants, our agents, do our shopping for us. They're essentially building an AI permission slip. And this gets to the heart of a really fascinating problem. I mean, think about it. If you tell your AI, hey, go buy me some new headphones, how does it actually pay? You can't just give it your credit card number, right? That would be a complete security nightmare. So how do you solve for this new world of so-called agentic commerce? Well, the solution, which comes from Affirm's partner Stripe, is something called shared payment tokens. Instead of sharing your actual card details, which, yeah, is like turning your financial data into confetti for anyone to grab, the AI agent uses a secure, temporary token. This token can be limited by time, by the amount, by the merchant. It makes the whole thing incredibly safe. So where does Affirm fit in? Well, they are plugging their buy now, pay later service directly into this new tokenized system. And what that means is, when an AI agent goes to checkout, it's going to have the option to use Affirm, which keeps BNPL totally relevant in this next generation of e-commerce. This quote just sums up their strategy perfectly. Affirm is making a big bet that the future of shopping will be powered by AI. And if they're right, they're making absolutely sure that their service isn't just pushed aside by some new default payment button. It's a really smart, proactive move to lock in their spot. All right, for our third and final story, let's turn to LendingTree for a fascinating lesson in what Wall Street really cares about. This is a classic case of why the future outlook, the guidance, can sometimes speak way, way louder than the numbers from the past. So on paper, this looks like an absolute disaster. Analysts expected LendingTree to earn 48 cents per share, but instead they lost 39 cents per share. I mean, normally a miss this huge would just crater a stock. And yet, the exact opposite happened. The stock didn't crash, it shot up over 40%, which seems completely insane, right? So what in the world did the market see that this one bad number didn't show? The answer really lies in one huge forward-looking number, $1.3 billion. That's the high end of LendingTree's revenue guidance for 2026. They painted a really clear picture for investors of a company that's on its way back up, and that's the story the market decided to buy. So here's the real story here. The market looked right past that one negative number. Instead, they focused on the fact that revenue was actually strong and growing. Core profitability was improving, and most importantly, that future guidance was super optimistic. It just goes to show you, sometimes the story you tell about tomorrow is way more powerful than the numbers you posted today. Investors love a good comeback story. So, we've looked at three pretty different stories, right? A stablecoin project, an AI checkout partnership, and a bizarre stock rally. But when you connect the dots, a single, really powerful theme emerges. It is all about the plumbing. Let's just recap these engine upgrades. SoFi is upgrading the fundamental settlement plumbing that moves money around the world. Affirm is upgrading the checkout plumbing for an AI-powered future. And LendingTree? Well, they were rewarded by the market precisely because they showed everyone that their core engine, their business plumbing, was getting a serious upgrade. And that's really the big idea to take away from all of this. The most important, most exciting innovations in finance right now aren't necessarily the flashy new apps you see on your home screen. They're happening one layer deeper, in the invisible infrastructure, the pipes that power absolutely everything. Which kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Maybe the next great revolution in finance won't be a new app that we all download, but a whole new set of invisible, incredibly efficient pipes built by companies just like these. What do you think?